Happy Wednesday. It is now 91 degrees, so it's cooling off. My washer fluid is low. Yep. I thought I had some. You know what? I was like at the dealership, like 2 months ago when I got an oil change. And I'm like, what happened here? They didn't check the windshield fluid while they were doing the oil change. I don't know if it's included or not, but like, wow, okay. And I thought my husband had some in his truck because one time he bought 2 of them, but he must have taken them for the truck that he drives. And he just told me, oh, just go to the Walmart, just go to the Walmart, buy some, they're not expensive. Yeah, that's not the point, husband. I don't want to go to the Walmart. I hate Walmart. But you know what? I'll try the market rather than going to the super center. I just don't like the super center. I have no cream in here. I have no hand cream in here and my hands are dry. I've got to have some in here somewhere. Oh, I'll have to wait. Sorry about that, you all. I'll have to wait till I park over there. I finally got invited to go see my neighbor's house. The one that moved out, that she bought a house, the one that was always complaining. She just texted me out of nowhere on Sunday and she's like, hey, do you want to come over? You want to see the house? It's a mess, but you're welcome to come over. And I was like, sure. And then I said, do you like mushrooms? And she's like, yeah. I said, okay, because I made a Swedish meatball pasta with mushrooms in the crock pot. Mushroom and onion. And then she was like, yummy, yes. And I said, okay, I'll take you some. So I took her some of that and I went over for a little while after my son's guitar lessons and stuff. You all, the house is, I'm not going to say it's big, it's cozy. And I love it. I thought, wow. The moment that I walked in, I was like, wow, this is perfect for you. You're alone. You have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You have a nice backyard. I said, wow, this is perfect. And even if you weren't alone, if you had like your partner here living with you, it would still be perfect for 2 people, And she's like, well, she told me the square footage. I forgot what she said, but she starts pointing out all the flaws with it. And I'm like, that's just minor, Like, she didn't like the kitchen cabinet color. And she's like, I'm gonna paint it gray or something like that, like a bluish gray. And I said, it's already a bluish gray. Maybe like a lighter bluish gray. And then she's like, well, look at the countertops. And I wanted to match the countertops. And I'm just like, okay. I'm kind of confused because the cabinets are already a bluish gray. And they're a pretty color. I love that color, by the way. And I was just like, okay. And then I said, maybe what you need is knobs because your cabinets don't have the knobs. And she's like, yeah, my friend's going to come over and he's going to put those knobs on and yada yada. And we're thinking like a black or a bronze color. And I was like, a bronze would look really pretty. And then I was trying to give her suggestions like, wow, you know what? Even some like rose gold would look really nice. And she's like, they have that? And I said, yeah. I said, you should look into it. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's. They sell all kinds of knobs there. You can even look online, and find something for the love of God. I thought I had cream in here. I guess not. I need to throw this away, though. This bottle of body spray. And, so then she's like, well, do you want to come outside with me? Because I need to throw the trash. And can you take these boxes? And I'm like, sure. Like, okay. And so I go outside with her and the dog and everything with Chaps. And she starts telling me about, the yard and this and that, and how the grass is dry. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's been hot, And she just goes on and on. And then all of a sudden I look up and I was like, oh, look at all the birds. And she's like, they're not birds, they're parrots. And I was like, okay, well, they're cute. I mean, like, you got a whole bunch of parrots up there. There must have been like 20 parrots. 20 parrots up there, you all. And they're just so cute. And I'm like, why don't they go where I live? And she's like, well, you can have them all. They annoy me. They annoy the shit out of me. Every morning and every evening, they come over here and they're there. And then she starts yelling at the parrots to go away. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, they come over here and they shit all over my patio. From all the way up there? And then she goes on and on about the other birds and the doves. And I'm like, yeah, I knew it. She should have moved out into the country somewhere. Way out there where there's no civilization and no animals, no birds, nothing. I don't understand why she just can't be grateful and humble for the beautiful home that she has. I would love a home like that, and I just don't get it. Like, at least be thankful that you were able to afford this house. She said that her mortgage is like $1,750 a month or something. And I was like, what? Like, how much was the house? And she's like, $220. I was like, what? I thought it was like $150 or something. And she's like, nope. And she's like, the mortgage is really high right now. And I said, dang, that's a lot of money. But it's an investment. It is an investment, and I am happy for her. I hope that she changes her mindset about it. Like, I was going to say her attitude. That too. I hope that she starts to become more humble about it. Yeah, because, not too many people can afford a home. And then, so we visited for a little while, then I wanted to come home already, and so I came home and all, but it was a nice visit overall. I had fun seeing her dog, and we miss each other. And secret side note, she doesn't know that I was just there to see Chaps and not her. No, I'm just kidding. But anyhow, and I did ask her, I was like, hey, so what was the deal with a rich cowboy? Like, why not just a rich guy? Why a rich cowboy? She's like, oh, because I've always liked cowboys. Oh, really? And then I said, there's a book that I read a long time ago, and I have no idea what happened to my old books that I used to have when I first became a Christian. And it's called What to Do Until Love Finds You. And she's like, really? And I said, yeah. She's like, well, what's it about? And I said, it talks about how God can prepare you while you're waiting for that person to come into your life. And there's a reason why we go through these seasons where we're single. It's because God is doing a work in us. There's something that He wants to correct in us to be better prepared for the right partner to come into our lives. And it has a lot to do with our temptations as well, like premarital sex and being tempted to go into these dating things, dating sites and stuff. And it's a really good book. I wish I still had it. I don't, but I will send you the link to it. I wouldn't mind reading it again. I wouldn't mind purchasing it. And then I was telling her how I wanted to read some good books. I've been looking for some good books. I can't seem to find any good suggestions, though. So if y'all have any good suggestions, please, let me know in the comment section. I'm looking for a book. No romance novels, please. I'm looking for more about life. Something like by C.S. Lewis, or something in psychology or sociology, that type of thing. I'm just trying to improve my mind while I'm at it. I just trying to heal. That's all. And I was gonna look up the verse that I wanted to quote, but of course, always in a hurry, and I forgot. But it's in Proverbs, and I think it's 28, where it talks about how charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I saw this movie called Substance. Or is it The Substance? I think it's just Substance. I'm always putting the in everything, and then when something starts with the, I forget to put the in front of it, so I think it's called Substance, and it's with Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. It is a really good movie, and I get these movie recommendations from X. People just post them, they recommend them, and I'm just like, let me check that out, And so if you're interested in watching it, it is on HBO Max. At first, the first time that I saw it, I was really grossed out by it. It does deal with a lot of graphic violence. As far as I'm just gonna leave it there. Just a lot of graphic violence. But please don't let that deter you from watching it, because this movie has a really good message. And it's mainly about, Demi Moore. She's at the time of her life where she's gotten older and she wants to be young again, and she gets the opportunity to do that. And that's all I'm going to say about it, so that you all could watch it. I don't want to ruin the movie for you. I'm not doing spoilers. I do want to talk about it later on in a couple of weeks. We can revisit, this conversation about that movie, because I'd like to go into more detail. But I didn't really get the full message the first time that I watched it, like I said. So then I watched it again, and I was like, wow. Now, I am going to say this, spoil alert. The ending, don't be mad at me about it. I didn't write the ending. I personally, if you don't like the ending, neither did I. The ending could have gone so many other ways. And for some reason, the writer, the creator of this movie, she chose to end it the way she did. And like I said, that's not my fault. So don't blame me. I hear something in this car, and you all know I hate bugs. I think it's just me. So with that said, I started to dig a little deeper about that. And why is it that with us women, as we get older, we kind of get tossed? And I'm not trying to make this a depressing video. I'm just trying to be real here for a moment. But why is it when we're no longer of an asset to somebody or something, we get tossed aside? We're like old news, you know? And I'm saying this for any age. It's not necessarily just, you know, you're 40 plus. Even now, you know, I hear some people saying that 30-year-olds are old. To the 20-year-olds, when you say you're 30, they'll be like, ew, you're old. You're not old at 30? What the heck? And then, you know, if you're older 30, of course, you're really old. And if you're in your 50s and up, you're ancient. You know, like, that's just the way people think for some reason. That's, correction, that is what society puts in your head. They mess with people's head. And it just really upsets me that society is dictating now on what beauty is. And a really perfect example of all this is YouTube. And I'll admit, I fell for it for a bit. Back in 2015, when I first discovered YouTube, I heard about YouTube, but I wasn't really like watching it. I started watching it and I started getting all these recommendations about get ready with me, makeup tutorials. And I found them fascinating. And I started buying more and more makeup. I would save money to buy all of this makeup. Because, like I said, I fell for it. I thought in my mind, well, if I wear the same thing that they're wearing, I'm going to look like them. My skin's going to glow just like theirs. My eyes are going to look just like theirs. My lips, if I use that lipstick by Pat McGrath, my lips are going to look like theirs too. You know, oh, and I got to buy the MAC lip liner so that I can outline my lips and make them bigger. And so here I was buying all this makeup that I didn't even know how to use. A friend of mine at that time even gave me this huge eyeshadow palette. I forgot who it was, but I think it was Morphe. She got it on sale at the Ulta and she gave it to me. And I was just so happy. I was like, you know. And do you all know that till this day I still don't wear eyeshadow? I've never worn eyeshadow. Like, I've never been one to put eyeshadow. I have hooded eyes. I've had hooded eyes all of my life. So putting eyeshadow just makes them look even more droopy, I guess. And now that I'm my age, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna put eyeliner on. Eyeshadow. I'll wear eyeliner only on the top lid. I won't do any underneath unless it's evening time, and then I'll just put the liner on the corner, on the bottom corner of my eye, and bring it in a little. I do not bring it all the way in. That is one of my pet peeves, is when I see a woman my age, and if you do this, and you know, that's up to you, but I personally just don't. I think it ages you if you put the eyeliner on the inside of your waterline all the way through and then have some on top. It just gives your eyes this weird look, like a watery, I couldn't swallow, like a watery kind of eye looking, and I just don't like it, you know. As we get older, less is more. Let me just say that. And there's a scene in the movie that I will kind of give another spoiler alert about, where Demi, she plays Elizabeth Sparkle, she's getting ready to go out on a date. And she puts on this really sexy dress on. And she looks fabulous, you know? And she's looking at herself, and there's something that she doesn't like. Like, she starts to self-doubt. And so she brings the dress up a bit. She's like, okay, like, maybe I shouldn't show my breast, you know, at my age or something, you know? So she brings the dress up a little bit. And then she decides, no, you know what? I think I need more blush. So she starts putting more blush. And in short, she's like putting on more makeup. She's altering her dress. She's putting on a scarf. And she just does not feel like she looks good to her, to herself. How many of us have done that? And why do we do that? Why? Because we look at this younger version of a woman on YouTube putting on makeup, and we're not looking the same as they are. These women are on YouTube promoting a certain line of makeup that they got for free, number one. They're being sponsored. Their job is to sell you these products for this company. And we're reading the comment section, and there's people saying, oh, you look great. I love how you did your hair this time. I love how you did that blush this time. I love that color on you. Just compliment after compliment after compliment, right? And so we're buying into this. And when we start getting ready, sometimes we fall into that trap. You know, and this could be no matter what age you are. You fall into the trap where you start putting on this makeup. You purchased all this expensive makeup. And you're like, I'm not looking like this girl that I'm following. What's wrong with me? Why do I not look like her? So you find yourself starting to take some off. And then reapplying it. And so on, right? I hate to pick on this one YouTuber. I'm not going to mention her name. But I've mentioned her before, where she moved here to Texas. She moved to Houston, Texas. I don't know where she came from. I was following her before. I stopped following her because all of her videos were about her. It was about what she was using on her face, what she eats, what she drinks, what she just bought at the grocery store, her fingernails. And don't you all just love when they're like, don't look at my fingernails, you all. I have to go get them done again. But yet they're putting their fingernails right here, right in front of the camera like this, you know, so that you can see them. And it's like, really? So I stopped following her for those reasons. I watched a video of hers the other day, thinking, well, maybe now she's kind of like changed, because I saw her channel and apparently she's traveling now to many places. She doesn't work, but she's traveling. And I was just wondering, like, okay, how is that happening, right? And she just got back into town. And what is the first thing she does? I haven't done a Get Ready With Me in a long time, so let's do it right now. And I'm like, oh, great. So I'm like, okay, like, Moon, give her a chance. Just watch it. You all, for like a good 48 minutes, all she did was talk about herself. It was all me, 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 me. I just couldn't believe it. Now, I didn't sit there and watch her the entire time. I was listening. I opened another page and I started scrolling through Walmart because I'm looking for a coffee pot. And I found one at Sam's for, Walmart had it for like $99. Sam's had it for $79. So I got it at Sam's, and I'll let you all know what I got when I get it. I'm supposed to pick it up tomorrow. So anyhow, I was just like, even getting irritated just listening to her talking about herself, even while scrolling through Walmart. And I finally went back to her page, and I was just like, I clicked off. I was like, I can't take this anymore. That's enough about you. I cannot take it. But then I started to realize, you know, she has a lot of sponsors. She just bought a house, like I said. She started her YouTube channel back around the same time that I found YouTube. And she's worked her way up. But it's because of the sponsors and the views that she's getting paid to be able to afford this lifestyle that she has. But yet, she's not giving anything back to her viewers other than talking about herself. And then I started, you know, before I clicked off, I went through her comments. That's one thing I forgot to mention. And as I was going through her comments, there was a lot of praises in there about, again, love that color on you, your cheeks are popping, blah, 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 blah. You all, she put like 3 layers of blushes on. Of course her cheeks are gonna pop. 3 layers of, I'm not joking, 3 layers of blushes and about 2 different kinds of bronzers. And I'm like, holy cow, why does one need so much stuff? I was gonna say junk. Why does someone need so much makeup on? And she was saying, oh, the humidity here in Texas. Darling, I live in Texas. I know it's humid, and I don't even put that much on. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm like surprised she hasn't talked about how her face has melted when she goes out. You know, because why would you do that? You know, I just listening to her put all this stuff on her face, I felt like my pores were clogging. You know, and I'm not joking about that. I'm being serious. Like, wow. But reading her comments and all, I was thinking, what if, just what if, those comments are actually the companies that are sponsoring her. And they're there to convince the viewers, like you and I, that we need these particular products that this person is using. Like it's a tactic, you know? And we're falling for it. Well, some of us do. I'm not anymore, you know, but my thing is that why do we put so much value on beauty? Why are we not putting the same value on inner beauty? You can have somebody to stare at the screen and they can have the blonde hair and the green eyes, or the dark hair and the blue eyes. And of course, both of them will have fair skin. But they don't make up beauty. They are not the definition of real beauty. They have just that asset about themselves. They're not bringing anything else to you. They're not speaking into your life. They're not encouraging you. And meanwhile, you do have some YouTubers that you could tell they're naturally beauty on the inside. They have a good heart. They have a pleasant demeanor. They're smart. But just because they don't look like these YouTubers, they don't get the same accolades. Why are we rewarding looks over inner beauty? Everybody has somebody beautiful about themselves. I don't care if you're fat, anorexic, young, old, acne, no acne, braces, crooked teeth, whatever it is that you look like, there is still something beautiful about you. And if the people that are watching you or looking at you can't see that, it's because they're not meant to. They have no business in your life. I have ran into so many people in my life where I can see something beautiful about them. They'll have beautiful hair, beautiful lashes, beautiful lips, but more importantly, they have a beautiful soul. And that makes them overall beautiful. Looks fade. They fade, and your soul is forever, though. You're probably wondering, okay, Moon, if you really feel that way, why don't you show yourself? I'm not confident enough to do that. I did try to do it once, and I saw myself, and I was like, oh my God, my cheeks are so chubby. You know, I just didn't like it. I didn't like myself enough to do that. But I have my days where I feel like I want to. You know, I feel like, hey, I look good today, and I want to. But people are so cruel in this world that they'll find something ugly to say. I've seen it in other channels that I watch on their lives where some trolls will come in. They'll be like telling a woman, hey, are you a grandma? Hey, are you like 70? Hey, are you pregnant? You know, just picking on her looks and her body image. And I understand that these are people hiding behind their keyboard. And they are really ugly trolls that have nothing better to do. I've seen this do this to even men. And I'm thinking, wow, like, to you trolls that do this, I don't know how old you are, but get some help. Obviously, you have a restless soul. You have no peace in your life. And you need to get help. Find that peace. Find your own inner beauty. And stop being so ugly to others online. There's no need for that. So with that said, I just want to encourage you all to say something nice to somebody about how you feel that they look. Somebody may be struggling with their age, their body image, their look, their inner self. And you telling them something positive about them can lift their spirits up and make them feel way better. So with that said, thank you all for listening. I tried to keep it as short as I could, so I hope you made it through the whole video. And I love you all, and I will see you all again soon. Oh yeah, my coffee reveal, my coffee pot reveal. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll do it Saturday. But love you all. Bye.